to a very special episode of Chew on This or Nerds United podcast. This is episode 17. This is a reactionary episode of the finale of season 6 of The Walking Dead. I'm BJ.
Vic.
All right, man. God, I don't even know where to start with this episode. I'm going to start by saying, though, I'm heavily disappointed. Heavily.
Yeah, I am too, and here's why.
Okay, go
Because
for it.
leading up to this episode, I think I've said it on the podcast or to you privately that like I've been dreading this fucking episode for months, for weeks or whatever it has been since I read past episode or issue 100. So I've been dreading this fucking episode for weeks, to the point where like I let my DVR build up 3 or 4 episodes behind just because I didn't want to fucking like get to this episode. So.
Right.
Again, spoilers. Okay, that's only a minute. That's not bad for us. So
Yeah,
spoilers.
not bad. Hey, very good.
Spoilers. If you
This is
haven't been
spoilerific,
hearing,
guys.
if you haven't been listening, we've said it before that Daryl is the one who eats it at the end of episode issue 100, and that's Negan's introduction to the world of The Walking Dead. And
Yeah.
I've been dreading this fucking episode because like I told you before, I picture Glenn's face. Not the Glenn in the comic book. I picture Glenn's face when that was happening, going on.
And doesn't he say Maggie too? He's able
Yeah,
to say
like
Maggie.
he says it a couple times, and it's fucking disgusting. I mean, well, since it happened, I'll just you know what? Even if you're listening to this episode right now, I just remembered that they don't actually tell you who fucking dies in the episode. They don't show it, and I think that's probably why you're disappointed, and I am feeling like a bigger pussy than before because I've been avoiding this, and then nothing happened. Like the exact opposite of Carl.
This is the exact opposite of what I thought the episode was going to be. I mean, they had some tension build up, but then they had a lot of stuff where they would sidestep and go see what Carol's doing in Morgan, and I would always go like, oh, go back to the go back to the Rick's group and And then it just got really repetitive. Like everywhere they went, like these people must be the stupidest people on the planet. After 2 roadblocks, I would have turned around and went home.
Well, don't forget Maggie
sorry,
was
Maggie, I'm going home.
Yeah, you would have left Maggie to die.
No, I would have took her home and said, "We're going to try to figure this out." I mean, they kept going roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. I'm like, "Hello, they know where you're going."
Yeah,
and then that retarded plan, that stupid plan of
separating.
I mean, I knew that was going to be a big deal. That was going to be a problem.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in issue 100, right? Where Negan's people are blocking off all the roads. I don't think. I think it's just a one and done.
Yeah, it's just one and done. Well, I mean, I guess they had to build it up somehow.
No, I know, and I almost feel like the writer of the show was fucking with the fans who have actually read the comics. Because every time Abraham slowed down, you're like, here it comes. And I mean, subconsciously, you kind of knew they were going to wait till the very end, but every time it was just like, he slowed the car down. I'm like, okay, is he there? Nope, he's not there. Where the hell is he, And then when it actually, first of all, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, perfect. I mean, he could not be any more perfect for Negan. And I love that. Oh, yeah, I know. I love that guy. I love that guy in just about everything I've ever watched him in. He's played like a romantic lead. He's played a sick hero.
Bruce Wayne's dad.
Yeah.
And I think Lauren Cohen was his mom too.
Yep, Martha. Yep.
Batman v Superman. Yeah.
So, and then I mentioned him before on the podcast about him being on the father on Supernatural, and of course the sick hero that I was talking about was the comedian in The Watchmen. And there's a little bit of Negan in there.
Oh yeah.
So
he's oh my God, he's like slick. I think in the comic book they explain that he is he was a used car salesman or a car salesman of some kind.
Oh, and, so you're going like way past issue 100.
Yeah. And well, that's all I'm going to say, but he's like I think was a car salesman before. But yeah, he's I mean, he was so slick and just I don't know, man. Like he was that whole part with him in this speech. I was so nervous and so much tension. Like I loved it, and the music, the music throughout the whole thing was like almost like a horror film, like a thriller. and it kept me on my toes, you know. So like the music was crazy, and just everything leading up to that scene was nuts. I mean, and the way you know, they the other thing is like they kept showing this like wall with like holes in it and light shining in,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
by the yeah, and then by the third time you figured out, oh, it's where they were keeping those guys prisoner
Yeah.
and they let them all out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting edit choice.
Well, the last 20, it takes 20 something, it takes like 18 minutes to get the Negan once they get caught, I think.
Yeah.
It takes a long, like I think there was even a commercial break at one point in time once they got caught by by that group. It was crazy. I mean, all the actors and actresses that were in that scene, I was like scared with them, you know, like,
Oh yeah.
and I mean, even if I didn't know that they were going to get out, like, because I already knew what was going to happen. Yeah, I didn't know that that was going to happen, but that they weren't going to tell us. But I didn't think that when they showed up, I was going to be as scared as I was, knowing full well like what happens at the end. You know, like
Right.
sometimes when you know
Right.
what's coming, you're not really tense until the final moments of that thing happening. And you know that was Glenn getting his head bashed in, and
Yeah.
so before then, I wasn't like, I didn't think I would be on the edge of my seat and everything that the second they walked in and the lights kicked on, you're like, here it comes. And you just want to, because you know what's happening at the end, you want to just get to the end. But
Oh,
the lead up to it,
he drags that speech. Oh,
it was so good though. It
it
was
was so
wasn't it word
good.
for word also when he first comes out of the trailer when he's like, you guys pissing your pants yet or something like that?
I think most of it was word for word. I didn't have I was going to watch it with the comic book in front of me, but I couldn't, like, I literally stopped everything I was doing and just watched intently. I didn't even do
Yeah,
anything else.
he was so
And
good. I mean, he nailed it.
he did nailed it. The casting did a banging
Yeah.
job hiring him. I mean, he's so perfect. But the thing that was really disappointing, everyone out there, and I don't know, maybe some people would agree, some people would say no. I like the ambiguity. I love to figure it out and see what happens on episode one. I think it was an extreme cop out, and I don't like. I mean, if I figured like if they were going to do it, um, I like the first person view of the person getting hit.
Hmm.
I thought, holy shit, that's messed up. You're the person. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I was like, oh my God.
But then it
And then I
never cut
thought
away
what they
from
were,
that.
yeah, I thought they would cut away and show the person who they chose laying there all mashed up. That's what I thought was going to happen. And they didn't do it. They just faded to black, and all you
Yeah.
heard was someone
Well,
getting pummeled over and over and over again.
that's going to be one hell of a season premiere, though. I mean, I know you're disappointed in it, and 50% of me is, but the other half of me understands why they did it because now that's that's what everybody's going to be talking about all summer.
Right. But here's the deal, okay? If they chose somebody like Abraham or one of the other characters like Rosita or something like that, I'll be extremely pissed off.
I don't think it will
Like
be.
really mad, really, really mad
It-
because it has to, I'm sorry, but it's got to be Glenn, and not just because of the comic book did it, but because it has a huge impact.
well, I was
You
watching
know,
The Talking Dead from last week, and I
Mhm.
forget who the person they have on there. She was on the left side of the couch. She said
the
something.
comedian,
No, no, no,
the
no.
comedian lady.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
there
yeah,
was
the
a lady
comedian.
that's
Yeah, the comedian
yeah,
lady.
she's
Yeah,
on
yeah,
there. Nicole Brown, she's
yeah,
on
yeah.
there all the time.
She
Yeah.
she said something really interesting. She said, and this is talking about the previous episode. She was saying like, unless somebody confirms the kill and actually witnesses the kill, nobody has ever died from like, um,
Being alone.
yeah, being alone. And when you don't see it on camera, like you actually see it, you never die. Nobody ever dies off camera because they were talking about
Right.
Daryl. They were talking about Daryl, right? And what when she said that, I was like, okay, so it also has to be a main person too. And when they cut away, and I was like, oh my god, they didn't really do it. And immediately I was like, that sucks. And then immediately after that, I was like, oh my god, this thing is going to build up all summer. And then I thought about that comedian lady because I was thinking it's got to be one of the major players because I thought the same thing too. That like they better not cop out next season and do one of the
Yeah.
the second tier characters. But everything that lady said, it was right then and there. They were all going to witness it. We'll obviously witness it in the season premiere,
Oh,
but it's going to be a major person. Because that's what she
yeah, it
said. She
is.
says, you only see the major people and the other people only see the major people getting killed. Nobody, none
Right.
of never have one of the major characters died by themselves. Somebody has
Right.
always seen it at some point in time.
I really thought Morgan or Carol was going to get it too. I really I was like they're done for. You know what I mean? But then like when the guy had Carol dead to rights, I knew Morgan was going to show up.
Yeah, and use
But
the gun too.
but I thought like he was going to get killed or he was going to sacrifice himself to save her or something like that. And then the other I can't remember what are they called, the Whisperers or the I can't remember in the comic book there, but that other group shows up in all in armor and the horses and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing.
So
Well, what does?
I
Go ahead. Sorry.
well, all I was going to say is I'm looking forward to next season because right off the bat you're going to find out who died, and then you're going to have that scene where Jeffrey Dean Moore or Negan is going to show up to Alexandria and demand all their shit.
I didn't get
and
that
then
part.
he says
Wait.
he says that
Wait.
line.
Now you're
He
spoiling
says
it for
that
me
line.
because I didn't get that far in the comics.
Oh.
We
Well,
could spoil it for
anyway,
we could spoil it for the listeners. Just don't fucking spoil it for
I
me.
can't spoil it for you. Damn it, because there's a particular line that he says that's so genius. But okay, I won't say it then.
Because I was actually, ironically, I was actually going to say right before that what this show did do for me, this episode particularly, was to go back and just power through the comic books. Because I remember when I read that episode, damn, I keep saying that, this issue 100, I tried to read like 5 issues after that, and I couldn't because I couldn't get the goddamn image of my head.
Oh,
Like,
I know. I hate
if you're
that.
listening right
I mean,
now and
that's
you've
that's a
never
good thing and
read,
a bad thing.
yeah, if you're listening right now and you've never read the comics, let me just give you a brief overview of what actually happens. Basically, everything happens the same way in the episode that you saw, right? But instead of a first person view, picture Glenn, and the first shot that Lucille hits him in the head with, his eyeball comes half out of his socket. This is Glenn we're
Yeah,
talking about. And Glenn in the comic books, I don't feel is like the same Glenn in the TV show. I don't know why
yeah.
it just feels different. But and Negan never stops. He in the comic book, he actually references the fact that half the eye was coming out, which
Right.
I think in the show instead he says, "Look at that. He just took it like a man," or something like that, instead of
Yeah.
referencing the eyeball. So I think they purposely changed that for 2 reasons. One, that would have told you it was going to be Glenn, and B, it would have told the people who had no idea what was going to happen, um, give them that visual that they, that obviously AMC doesn't want to give them until season 1. I mean,
Right.
episode 1. Like that's gonna, like, most people aren't gonna understand how disgusting. And okay, so, and then like I said, Negan never stops pounding Glenn's head in, and
Oh God.
by the end of it, no fucking joke. By the end of it, Glenn doesn't have a head anymore. It's just it's like
It's
it's like,
mush.
oh my god, I don't even. It's like ground meat and jelly. Like that's what
Yeah.
it fucking looked like. That's what Negan does to Glenn's head in the comic books. Like it's fucking grotesque, and I could not
Yeah.
get that image out of my head, and that's why I was avoiding this episode for so long. Like the
Oh
exact
yeah.
opposite of Carl, because Carl lived that through it. There was no coming back from
There's
what Negan did.
no, no, absolutely not. But like yeah, you can't put a patch on it and say, "Here you go."
Yeah,
Um, but oh man, you got to catch up with me on the comics
I
books so we
will. I
can talk
will.
about it. But there's a lot of good stuff that starts coming up
Oh well, I mean, I
with
could,
Negan.
like, right now, like, I've gotten over the anxiousness that I got from, watching it like in real life. Now I just want to keep reading until, because I just can't wait to see how Rick gets his revenge.
Yeah, yeah, me too. That'd be pretty cool. What'd you think about uh the other storyline, which was
The Morgan and the,
Morgan, yeah, looking for Carol.
I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of I'm kind of on the
I
opposite end
guess,
of, like, sick of, like, this part of Carol's storyline.
yeah, me too.
I mean,
I
what is
I
it?
I
Remind me again why she's like this, because Maggie's pregnant and she, like, all of a sudden doesn't want to kill people.
yeah, I think she's just gotten to the point where she is just like, I can't kill anymore for you guys. Like, I'm just, if I see you guys in a situation where you're gonna die, I have to intervene and kill somebody, and I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I
What's
just want to
crazy
live my
about
life.
that is she's probably killed more people in the last 3 episodes than she has in like
Buddy.
3 seasons. Like
Well,
she's
that
like,
was
I
all
just
about
can't kill anyone anymore, and she fucking killed so many
Well,
people.
yeah, that's all out of survival. She kept saying like, "Please, just leave me alone,"
Yeah,
and like, just go away. And they're like, "Why?" Like, and she's like, she shoots him up, and she's like, "Because of that, I didn't want to do that." She's a survivor,
yeah,
but
she's a
like
fucking
in this
badass.
one, but see, in this episode, she just like, she's dead to rights, and she's laying there, and she's just like, "Finish the job," and he comes up to finish the job, and Morgan,
Yeah,
yells at him and stops him.
but I wonder if they're doing this on purpose because of what has already happened, and Carol's gonna find out, and I feel like I'm gonna get this like Carol montage with like Rocky music of her like getting ready to kill Negan or something.
Oh my god.
But
Yeah, I don't know. I just now I feel like her character's full circle, and I don't even care anymore what's going on. And I really don't care about Morgan anymore too. Like, do you remember when you kept seeing Morgan throughout season 5, and you're like, oh shit, I can't wait till he
yeah,
catches up to Rick's group.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
he came, and yeah, and you were like, we were so excited, like, oh, we love Morgan. And then ever since his 90-minute episode, I could give less, and I don't care anymore. Like, I'm just
yeah.
tired of his shtick.
Yeah, it would have been interesting had they put Negan in that situation. No, no, sorry, not Negan. Morgan in the Negan situation, like for him to
Oh yeah.
witness, Negan doing that, probably would have changed his character a lot. Because the writers kind of play loosely with who is actually there and who's not, or who
Right,
dies and who
right.
lives. So I thought it would have been interesting if Morgan, with his "I don't want to kill people" mentality, witnesses something like Negan, like the force, like the hell has broken loose force that Negan is bringing upon them.
Yeah, I mean, you need to put those sensibilities aside and go, well, I got to go after this. I got to kill this guy, otherwise we're all dead. I mean, he didn't have a problem killing that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I think Morgan's is almost like Carol, but to the extreme, where
yeah,
he will not kill unless it's absolutely necessary, and even if then
necessary.
he'll just avoid it completely. Whereas Carol in the past doesn't really care. So I think the saving grace for me is whenever Carol finds out next season that whoever died the way that he died or she died. Um, that'll probably determine whether or not I give a shit about Carol anymore. If she just goes into deeper depression, I'm just gonna be pissed.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see that from her. I want
Because
her to
it
come
because of
back.
yeah because of how what kind of shithole life she had before all of this stuff happened. Her life is a lot, well, her personal life, like meaning like of more like self-confidence and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah,
um like she's way better off now than before the zombie apocalypse happened. I mean, yeah, she lost her daughter and everything, but still, but like what I'm saying is just that self-confidence of her not taking shit from anybody anymore. And I thought that was a
yeah.
cool. Was that a line from the issue? Same issue where Rick tells that other guy from Alexandria like she's like a storm to be reckoned with or something like that. Remember that line he says?
Oh God,
Was
I
that to
don't
Morgan?
remember.
Maybe.
I think so.
Oh yeah, it
I
was right
don't
after.
remember
It was
for
right
sure.
after Rick found out that she that she doesn't want to kill or whatever, and doesn't want to do any of this, and he's like proud of her. Remember he says that to Morgan, like that
Oh
he
yeah.
that she still took out like 4 or 5 guys, and she doesn't want to kill. And then he says something like sometime after that about like being a force to be reckoned with, or storm, like something
Right.
bad. And I was like, ooh, that's an interesting. Like it stood out that Rick thinks that of Carol. You know what I mean? For some reason he thinks like Carol is like a one-man army, and I thought that was interesting because I knew what was
You
going to
know that
happen in the next episode.
that was really interesting. It's also interesting is that Rick, man, he's overconfident. Fuck, I mean, he's
But that's
so
what,
overconfident.
yeah, but that was
And
what was so awesome about the look on his face when he realized that he's fucked.
oh
He is
yeah,
like ghost white, shaking and sweating. That's
more
what
than
made it so
anybody
awesome.
else in that group.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And every time and like for people who didn't read the comics, every time he was trying to comfort somebody else, about the group being able to defend Alexandria and everything. And he kept saying things like, as long as we're all together, you know, that's what I believe. And I'm like, oh my God, he has no idea what's about to happen because he
Right.
kept referencing the fact that as long as we all stay together. And I'm like, well, one of you are about to fucking die. So,
Yeah. So
but
there
yeah,
goes that
those
theory.
performances, I mean, those guys were scared shitless. And that's what made the scene so much worse. Like Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan was an awesome Negan, but the looks on like Rick's face and Glenn fucking flipping out over Maggie, like
Oh yeah. That
such
was
good
hard to
stuff.
watch. That
Yeah,
was really hard to watch. And they kept Rick had that ongoing thing with that one guy about
yeah.
be
Last Day on
kind to
Earth.
one another like it's the last day on earth.
It was creepy because like me and you knew what was happening. Anybody who read the comics was like, "Oh my God, that's so fucked up." And Rick is again, he's being like an overconfident dick because basically they've always come out on top, and Negan's the first time where he's probably thinking like, "There's nothing we can do."
Damn, I kept thinking, why didn't they have the rocket launcher? I was like, God damn it.
Yeah,
It's something like it worked the first time.
yeah. Well,
um,
yeah, probably at the last.
that last roadblock, it was just tons of people. Like it
Yeah,
was stacked
they
up.
could have killed like half the people right there with a couple of rocket launchers. That would have thinned that
Right.
herd really fast.
It would have been over.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
too bad they used
I don't.
a rocket launcher to light a gas tank.
Yeah, yeah, Daryl.
That would have come
Thanks. You
in that would
wasted.
have come in handy.
Yeah, how about a match? A
Yeah.
match next time, you
Next time
dick.
we have a rocket launcher, don't fucking light something on fire you can use a candle with.
There's another thing. There's another thing is like I'm really disappointed in Daryl's character because this guy was like just an awesome tracker. He could hide all this stuff, but yet the last episode is like that Dwight dude snuck up on him like 3 million times.
Yeah,
Over the
yeah.
course of the season, I didn't understand that at all. I'm like, no, that's. And then Glenn's trying to tell him something, and he's not listening, and he gets captured. I'm just like, he was just like being an idiot all season long. Even the episode where they were chasing after Jesus and they lost that truck full of food in the
Yeah.
water, they were just being stupid.
I just hope
Um,
I hope it's actually not Daryl so that Daryl can seek the vengeance that he wants.
I don't
And
know.
it's
I
going to be
want
even
Daryl to get
worse.
conked on the head. I'm mad at him right now. I don't.
Yeah, yeah, but here's the thing: if you can get somebody pissed off and want revenge even more, I think Daryl's somebody that you would want on your side. And I love Glenn and all, but I would like to see that coming from like because I don't see that revenge thing with Glenn, mainly because it
Yeah.
doesn't happen past issue 100. But I would just love to see because Daryl was already in revenge mode, and after this he wants to fucking kill those guys even more.
Oh yeah, he's going to be a force to reckon with if he makes it out of this alive. That's for sure. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
I mean, just the way they left that group, it's messed up. But that you knew it was coming because when they went to Hilltop, they said, "Yeah, this guy showed up, killed one of our guys, and then said, give me half your shit." It was just like that. So they pretty much did the same thing.
yeah,
You know,
but anybody who like Rick has went up against, it was not like the governor had just as many people too, but nothing like this at
No,
all.
and just think, they're probably, well, I know it's going to happen, but I can't go into it. But pretty much what Negan was saying about, anytime that we come in and knock on your door, you better open it, otherwise we'll break it in and kill everybody. So they have to comply.
Yeah.
They're going to have to comply, just like Hilltop.
Well, we have
Um,
all summer to figure it out or speculate because they didn't really leave you with anything. Like I
Nothing.
rewatched that ending like 5 times trying to pick something up, and you couldn't hear anything. And they
No,
spit.
nobody says anything. Was there any collective gasps from anyone else, or he just kept pommeling the head and that was it?
There was like a collect. You could hear screaming after the first hit, but they purposely like muted it so you couldn't figure out who was speaking and who wasn't speaking.
Uh,
So they strategically like muted certain voices and but you could hear screaming after the first one, and then after the second hit, I think it kind of goes a little numb, and all you hear is like the sound of Lucille.
yeah, I was a little disappointed in Lucille too. It didn't look as cool as I thought.
No, it actually looks like Lucille got like tight because in the comic books, like it's just like loose barbed wire everywhere, where it's like
Oh my god,
yeah.
yeah, it looks menacing. It looks nasty.
I mean, Lucille looks bad in the in the TV show too, but it didn't have. It was like the barbed wire for me was too like tightly wound, like too neat. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like, but it's like well, the way that they do in the TV show, you could say it's like counter what counter what Lucille actually does. You know what I mean? Like the neatness of Lucille versus the destruction she actually causes. That's deep.
right. I no doubt. I mean, I what's the other thing is it's interesting to see like Eugene and Abraham, not Abraham, Eugene and the what's the name of the Reverend? I
The
can't
what?
remember now.
The what?
The Reverend, the
Oh
priest.
yeah, I don't remember his name, but
See, like we don't even care. But him and Eugene have been stepping up quite a bit, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and
Eugene's world came
but
crashing down for stepping up really fast.
yeah, I mean, his plan of like I'm gonna drive around. They don't know how many people are in here, type of thing. It sounded good when he said it, but then I was like, well, wait a minute. There was a time where they all got out and they saw how many people were in there. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out like he must have went somewhere where they roadblocked him and he couldn't get away or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Um,
it's basically it was Eugene was gonna get caught no matter what. But
I just think they played it really stupid. I mean, after the second roadblock, in my head, I'd have been like, we need to get back. We need to go back home.
yeah, but
You
part of you
know?
also knew what was about to come. You know,
Yeah,
if you put your mind into the fact that Rick and his group has never faced anything like this, and would have no reason to be afraid at all.
that's the overconfidence. I mean,
Right.
this thing, Glenn, whoever gets killed, is gonna shatter Rick. It's just going to strip all that egotistical, that confidence. It's gonna strip it away, and that actor is really gonna have to do a bang up job next season, being like that.
Well, he
Just
did
being
it.
like,
I mean, he did it with his acting in the last 10 minutes. I mean,
oh
he was.
God.
I mean, I think his look, his utter defeat, his utter like scared shitlessness that you've never seen from Rick, like, was the
Did
most
you
frightening part of it.
did you see Carl? He was like the only one that wasn't crying. He wasn't. He was
Yeah,
just
I thought that was pretty.
stoic.
I thought that was pretty badass. I don't think. I think Carl is crying in the comic books, or at least
Maybe,
maybe. I
but
don't. I don't
but
remember.
he figures out like it's his dad, like they're related. And I was like, oh shit, and then
Yeah.
that's when Rick finally said something
Well,
like,
you definitely know the two people that survived the television show version was it's going to be Rick and Carl, like because Negan said it.
yeah.
So you know
Well,
those two are safe.
Carl plays a very very big role
Yeah, you
later
said
on.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is probably a good place to end it before you accidentally fucking spoil it for me.
I know. You're gonna have to read it. When you read it, we'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So I don't know. Last words. I'm just gonna say that again, folks. I really anticipated something awesome, and I got the opposite for me. I was really really let down, disappointed. But at the same time, I have a feeling that over the next few weeks or the next few months, that might change. Like I might start that tension's going to come back, that
Because you
worry, all
still
that
haven't
stuff's going
seen
to
it.
come back
Still haven't seen
right
it.
before that. Yeah, right before that episode starts, episode 1. So just like this season, when Jesse and her family get eaten, I knew it was coming, and it was freaky. Of course, we didn't have to wait as long, but still, this is going to be a long wait to see something
That's worse than that.
awful come to fruition. Yeah.
It's going to be
So
one of the major players. It's going to be the first
I'll
tier players.
absolutely. So for now, disappointed, but I don't think after 6 months I won't be anymore.
Yeah,
Hopefully. You
I've got
what do you
like
think?
3 or 4 months. I got it 3 or 4 months until I start getting that feeling in my stomach again, trying to avoid The Walking Dead coming back. Because now that I know that it's not in the episode that they just released, now I got all summer to fucking be anxious about the episode that they're going to show it in.
Oh
Like,
no. That's well, you need to jump into the comics again. I think the comics are like they're kind of a good thing and a bad thing. You
yeah,
know,
this
the
was
good
definitely a
thing
bad
is
thing. This one was definitely a bad
right.
thing.
This one was a bad thing, but like the stuff with the governor and things like that. when you knew the jail was coming, all that stuff, you got excited. You're like, oh, I can't wait to see the governor. I can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
Neegan is like this double-edged sword where you're like, oh my God, I cannot wait to see Neegan. But at the same time, you're like, I don't want to fucking see that guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that guy. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan, awesome job. Awesome job.
Yes.
So I look
Perfect.
forward to seeing him for the next season or two. Hopefully sticks around. So
yeah. That's it.
awesome. Well, yeah, that was our reactionary episode of Chew on This, a Nerds United podcast episode. It's just a very quick episode 17. I'm BJ.
Vic.
Chew on that, folks. Until next time.
Later.